Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. My name is Merge, and with the anticipation for the up-and-coming re-release of Spider-Man No Way Home but the more fun stuff version, which is basically like a director's cut of the movie with the inclusion of deleted scenes in between 11 to 17 minutes of footage, and for me, that's just not enough to justify me purchasing a ticket when I literally own the Blu-ray, but I guess that's useless now, right? And just to disrespect, to withhold footage that could have enhanced the original viewing experience just because, what, you didn't have time to finish the effects? First of all, I know this isn't front page news or anything like that, but generally speaking, when you're making a movie or any kind of content for that matter, typically you're the person who decides when it gets released. And for known or unknown reasons, if something were to happen like, I don't know, a global pandemic, nobody would blame you for pushing the movie back a few months. Just look at DC Warner Brothers' Black Adam, a movie that's been in production since 2009, and don't even get me started on The Flash, but I digress. So until these scenes land on YouTube or on my Twitter feed, I decided to look back at the original Spider-Man 3 and give my take on some of the things that happened in this movie that I always had questions about but never had a YouTube channel to throw out my opinions. Until now. So not really a review or a breakdown, but just one man on YouTube asking the people on the internet questions about the most trivial Spider-Man film ever released. And if you could leave a like on this video and even consider subscribing to stay up to date with the latest content, I can make any time pizza time. And I think this goes without saying, but spoiler alert for the entire Sam Raimi Spider-Man series. So hot take, but to me Spider-Man 3 is a love story about a toxic couple just trying to make it work. Why would you do that? Prime example, and the reason that we are here today is this scene where Mary Jane breaks up with Peter Parker, and I am using air quotes to the fullest when it comes to that. Because honestly, I just don't get it. So just to provide some context for those who may have forgot, Harry Osborn, who has this, let's say it's complicated relationship with Peter Parker for reasons.
Have you died?
And he just recovered from his amnesia that he's gotten earlier in the movie for also reasons. And he comes up with this brilliant and completely original idea to threaten Mary Jane with Peter Parker's safety, saying if she wants Peter to live, she's gonna do something for him. And we come to find out that that something is breaking up with Peter, subsequently attacking his heart. And unlike his dad who kidnapped her to get the message across, Harry, aka the new Goblin, simply delivered a message, and credit to his tactic, Mary Jane just went along with it. But here's the thing, Mary Jane has been in life and death situations in literally every movie, so you would think that she'd be a little bit familiar with being in the face of danger. And with this time being Harry of all people, maybe she would have been able to turn his plan against him. And I like to imagine that Peter told Mary Jane about Norman being the Green Goblin because, I mean, it had to come up in conversation, especially if they've been maybe dating for like 2 years between Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. Maybe Mary Jane just asked Peter one day like, hey, remember that Green Goblin guy that threw me off the bridge with the bus full of kids? Well, did you ever find out who he was?
Oh boy, yeah.
So she would know that if Peter could take his dad, who was infinitely more terrifying than Harry could ever be, then how is this even a threat on Peter's life? Honestly, if I was Peter, I would just be insulted. And what's even more funnier about this, in this movie, Peter and Harry have 2 confrontations, and both times Peter could have killed Harry, and in one of those times, Harry took a bomb to the face. So what danger was Peter really in? He honestly should have gave her the Heisenberg speech back in Breaking Bad.
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
It's not like when Harry was watching them, he had a sniper trained on their position, and to my knowledge, the Green Goblin serum didn't exactly give him super hearing. So there was nothing stopping her from saying, hey, Peter, act natural. I'm gonna break up with you, but not really, because Harry is over there and he's trying to kill you or me. I don't really know, but he's right there, so maybe you can take care of him. And Peter could have just handled him the same way with the, bomb to the face. But instead, Mary Jane chooses to purposely hurt Peter by breaking up with him, and she goes from 0 to 100 in 5 seconds with her reasoning, saying that he's not there for her and how she's lonely, and his reaction is so realistic, showing genuine shock, and you can actually see at the moment that his heart sank right here. And when he's trying to apologize and reason with her, saying that they can work it out, even showing her the ring that he wanted to propose with her with, she shuts him down by saying that she fell in love with someone else, which might as well have been a bullet to the head. Because a little backstory about this relationship of theirs, in every relationship Mary Jane is in this entire trilogy, she ends up cheating on with someone else, except for Flash Thompson, which I guess he dodged a bullet, because in the first Spider-Man movie, when she was with Harry, she ended up kissing Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker. In the second Spider-Man movie, she left her fiance John Jameson at the altar for Peter, and she couldn't even break off the wedding in person. She did it through a letter that she had one of her bridesmaids deliver the news, and the amount of red flags that are there are just insane. But Peter, you know, hey. And in the third movie, she cheats on Peter by kissing Harry, even though one could argue that it was revenge for Peter kissing Gwen Stacy, which, I mean, fair enough, but 2 wrongs don't make it right, regardless of the situation. And the thing that makes this moment so much more impactful is the fact that her falling in love with someone else is exactly how their relationship got started. So in Peter's eyes, he's seen firsthand that she could be here today and gone tomorrow. So regardless of whatever excuse she tells Peter after the events of Spider-Man 3, because after their so-called breakup, it's never acknowledged again. But I will always feel that what she said was the complete truth, just weaponized to hurt Peter, and maybe had they been honest with each other about their feelings, they would have been a way stronger couple. But according to Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man No Way Home, after a while they did make it work, so I just hope it involved involve couples therapy because they have a lot to work through. Moving over to the next gripe that I have with this movie, I don't really have a problem with the dance sequence or the weird strut that he does with the finger points down the sidewalk. I think it's silly, but it's fine, I guess. But the scene that I have a problem with is where Sandman meets Venom. And fun fact, Sam Raimi did not even want to have Venom in the movie, and boy does it show. And honestly, it's just comical how easily Sandman went from wanting to rob a bank for his daughter's operation to now wanting to kill Spider-Man just because Venom floated the idea to him. And I'm not even sure that he realizes that regardless of what he does, he is an escaped convict wanted for murder, and there is no way that he's gonna see his kid legally, even if he did kill Spider-Man. And I say that because Venom in his Eddie Brock voice tells him that he knows all about how Spider-Man won't let him see his daughter and all this other stuff, and right there would have been a huge red flag for Sandman, because unless he's an idiot, because earlier in the same exact movie it was really his ex-wife who wasn't letting him see his kid.
The cops are looking for you. You're not getting near her.
You're not getting near her.
Like the fact that Spider-Man won't let you help your poor daughter?
You stupid.
But I guess having the offer to kill Spider-Man coming from the only alien in the city with the voice of Topher Grace can make you really reconsider things. And I know it's not mentioned in the movie, but I always thought the reason why he knew everything about Flint Marko was because the symbiote knew from being attached to Peter, and the two had bonded because of their mutual hatred for Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But because it's not mentioned directly, I'll just say they forgot, so I got you, Sam Raimi. And what makes me laugh every time I watch the scene is when Sandman stops Venom mid-swing and mistakes it for Spider-Man, and when he sees that it's not, he literally just throws him away and keeps walking. Like, yo, I don't even understand how you turn your back on something like that and not have questions like maybe, hey, why did you yell like a creature but now you're speaking like the actor Topher Grace? Or, before we start working together, I just have to know, what are you? But I guess for Sandman, he's more of a kill Spider-Man first and ask questions later kind of guy. And when you think about it, at the end of the movie when Peter forgives him for killing Uncle Ben, which, I mean, okay, but he just lets him go, an escaped convicted murderer with the power to become and control Sand who just robbed a bank and an armored truck maybe all in the same week, just gone with the wind with no need to explain for his crimes because he has the forgiveness and I guess the identity of Peter Parker Spider-Man, making him the only villain in the trilogy not to be killed. Until we fast forward to Spider-Man No Way Home where he was cured from his sand power and now he will return to his universe to live out the rest of his days behind bars in jail because clearly Spider-Man was playing the ultimate long con and he's finally able to depower Sandman and bring him to justice because apparently he'd been working on a cure for him as well as the Green Goblin for reasons. So I guess unlike Harry, Peter never forgot. But that'll do it for me on this video. I want to thank you guys for hearing me rant about a movie that came out over 15 years ago, but hopefully I was able to bring a new discussion to the table about the movie, and that's all about relationships with superheroes and how they just don't work. And I know people might bring up the whole Superman and Lois Lane situation, and to that I bring up the Injustice storyline. And Tony and Pepper Potts, I mean, don't even get me started on that. I mean, it's just not an ideal relationship to be in with a superhero. But let me know down below who you think the most toxic couple in comics is. Whatever it is, let me know down below in the comments, and do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest rants and hot takes. Until then, my name is Merge. Later.
I love you guys.